Excuse me, miss, can you help me? I seem to be completely lost.
Oh my God.
I just don't know what way to go. I shouldn't have taken that second right at Tucson.
You know, no one can ever accuse you of not committing to a bit. They just can't. They can't.
Well, one does try.
You doesn't one.
Doesn't one.
You look breathtaking. You look like travel snow seal, and I love to see it. It's fabulous. Tell me about the hat. Where is she from? What is her story? Can I get her number? What is her deal?
She just got downgraded from first class to coach, but she did bring her own wine glass for the plane, so.
Oh, yes, girl. All right. I am traveling as well. I am drinking Target Pinot Noir that I panic bought after I realized I didn't have a toothbrush. And I'm drinking it out of a styrofoam mug.
Beautiful, beautiful. Are you at liberty to say under whose umbrella you're staying tonight?
Auspices.
Under whose auspices, whose domain you find yourself this evening?
I will say I am in the continental U.S., and that's all I can currently reveal.
The lady doesn't like to reveal everything.
My first girlfriend in Ohio, Chelsea, who sometimes watches. Hi, Chelsea, I love you. She's fabulous, and I'm such a big fan of her. But she just welcomed me into Ohio the way everyone should, with like vodka Kool-Aid and just a lot of like fall walks.
Yes.
Just fabulous. Just 10 out of 10. Team Chelsea. She nailed it. Love her. She's like, Brooke, I have no idea what you are. I'm pretty sure you're a mercenary. And I'm like, I'm a mercenary with wine. So it's totally fun.
I was going to say the way we all get introduced, which is room 403 at the 4 Points by Sheraton, but some of us have different stories, Brooke.
Some of us, we all have different stories. Ooh!
With different journeys.
Tonight, we are talking travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided
the glamour and the horror.
The glamour and the horror. And the reason we weren't here last week is because of the horror. Quel horror! It was an American 5-hour delay. And shouts in the chat if you have ever flown American, because you too know a 5-hour delay.
Yes, I was delayed overnight because we missed the last connecting flight coming back from, you know what, actually I think it was Delta. But I have...
Was it Delta?
Yes, it was Delta, but I have been delayed on American before. And you know what, to their credit, having a long line of people who all need to be put up at the nearest hotel with the little overnight kit. Have you ever had the little overnight kit, Brooke?
Too many times to remember.
Let me tell you, that is when your choices about what you wore to travel really come to a head. Because either you dressed really comfortably and you're like good to wear that again the next day.
Nailed it.
Or you're in something where it's like, ooh, I'm traveling. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And then you're fucked.
So first of all, travel tip number 1, and guess what? There's going to be a lot. In your carry-on,
so write these down.
You must put a spare change of clothes. Now, hear me out. If you're traveling for work, they're those roll dresses that like they don't wrinkle.
Yeah.
So you can have that and wear the shoes you're going to have to wear the next day.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're traveling for leisure, panties and a shirt. It'll change your life. It'll change your mornings. It'll change your evenings. You must. Because I have it at the bottom of my carry-on and I haven't touched it. Like it's just there. But it's there and it's my comfort. It's my emotional support panty, which we all need.
I have mine on right now. You might want to just tuck them at the bottom underneath everything else, so that's like that's when you break the glass, right? You take everything out and you're like, thank God I packed these sweatpants, because now I'm gonna be stuck in the terminal for 8 hours or whatever whatever crazy thing.
But like I was on the delay and the guy was like complaining and he's like, well, I have to go to a meeting and I can't just go in jeans. And I'm like, first of all, homie, you absolutely can. It's post-pandemic life. They're lucky you're in pants with a fly. But second of all, you're flying American. Why are you ever anticipating getting there on time? Like, that's on you. Like, I didn't expect to get there on time.
That's why I wonder why people fly through Chicago and expect to be somewhere on time.
I never fly anywhere above the Mason-Dixon line for a connection after November and before March.
Wow. I'm going to have to start taking notes. This is getting complicated. Is this going to be on the quiz?
If there's a 2.5-hour layover in Atlanta or a 50-minute layover in LaGuardia, but it's December, you choose Atlanta. You look at me and you choose Atlanta. Don't go up to LaGuardia in December. Are you insane? Are you insane? Don't go up to LaGuardia at any time.
Listen, you are fully like who was that guy who played Up in the Air who got 100,000 miles?
Clooney.
Yes, you're like George Clooney and Up in the Air. You're like pack light. Brooke has all the pro tips. I think you have flown more miles in your life than I ever will in my life by this point.
Like total.
I think,
Total.
Like I'm not going to catch up. You've lapped me so many times.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is it my bag of snap peas and my roasted red pepper hummus? Is it
prepared
my grapes? Is it my shredded coconut, which is a fibrous, sweet, and healthy snack?
Do you just eat that by the handful? What's going on?
Fuck yeah, I do. Or I put it with the Greek, or I put it with the Greek coconut milk yogurt that I packed that's in the fridge still.
Wow, if she's feeling feisty, raw cashews. Do you just stuff the mini fridge full when you get there?
Oh, it's packed. I wish I don't want to. I don't want to lose reception. So, not pictured is half a dozen hard-boiled eggs, 5 apples, 3 cans of LaCroix because I drove today. Huge game changer. But when I'm getting on flights, absolutely, you must pack nuts. Nuts will save your life. And the shredded coconut is really nice because you can put it on things. And I usually put it in a bag, but I treated myself. You know what I mean? It's
the entree and the condiment.
Yes.
It is yes and yes.
Yes to all that, but nothing beats a hot meal. Like by the end of this week, I'm just gonna be like, you could literally heat up like cardboard, and I'd be like, but it's warm. You just like live on snacks.
Yeah. I mean, right, and they're not selling like Healthy Choice Power Bowls at the concierge, unfortunately.
Not yet.
Not
when I run this place, they will. Yes. So travel tips, and I will say, if you are going, and girl, this is controversial, so please jump in.
Yet brave.
Oh,
here we go.
Yes, and actually extremely brave once you find out what it is. If you are going to take a nude, sexy selfie with any sort of anything on a plane bathroom, on an airplane bathroom,
go on.
I'm going to tell you 2 tips. First, do it early in the flight because the bathroom gets gross, and you don't want your boo getting the photo and like being like, what is that? Do you know what I'm saying?
I didn't expect that, but that's a great tip. I would never have thought of that.
And for international flights, because of how high up you go, you really bloat. So on shorter flights, you bloat a little bit, but on the international, no. First hour you're over the Atlantic, get out the tit pics because you do not want to do that when you're 2 hours from Johannesburg and you're like 18 hours in. It's just not sensual. It's not sensual. And you never bloat in the places you want to bloat, by the way. I never bloat in my B cup. I bloat like in my midsection and like my neck.
Oh my gosh. I'm totally seeing like a Jennifer Coolidge skit where she's like, the cabin pressure gets me feeling really puffy. You know?
Fucking fat. And she's still on the ground.
And she's still on the ground. She's in a mini skirt. She's like dressed as a stewardess for some reason, and she's like pretending to be Does anyone want some complimentary snacks? Girl, so I am a plebe. By comparison, I am a plebeian, but I would say...
You've never taken a sexy photo on a plane?
No, I just mean traveling in general. Compared to you.
I was like, girl, don't even get me started. You've taken a sexy photo everywhere. On a boat, with a goat. Everywhere. No comment. I do look like someone from Whoville, so that tracks. Wait. Have you seen my Cindy Lou Who impression? It's so good.
No, I don't think so. Oh, girl, save it for Christmas.
Hidden talents.
Yeah. Incredible.
How is she not married? She's divorced. Anyways.
Always a bridesmaid, Cindy Lou. I completely lost my train of thought. Advice for traveling, especially if you get delayed. Just let it happen. You know what I mean? Don't. No one likes the person who's at the front of. You finally get to the front of the line and you just need someone to shout at. You know what I mean? Like, I just get like a mantra. Get like some meditation, tape cassette with some pan flutes on it. Something to calm you down. You know.
I will say,
because it's gonna happen either way, and you need to just go with the flow.
And it's not like their fault. We were getting back on our flight after the 5-hour plane. We had the same crew, and I saw the same flight attendant. And I said, "Hi, good to see you." She's like, "You're in a good mood." I was like, "This isn't your fault." And she's like, "Tell that to everyone else on this plane." And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, Now, don't get me wrong. If, like, the people you should be mad at is the guy on my flight 2 or 3 flights ago who got kicked off and delayed our flight.
Why did he get kicked off? What did he do?
Look at this. He had his mask on. So I think he touched his flight attendant.
Oh.
Because they pushed Tommy off so fast. They're like, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go. And there's 2 of them, and they're just working their way down. It was amazing. I was, like, inspired. I was like, that's how a drag queen gets someone out of a dressing room. Like, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go. Keep walking. You're going to have to go. Grab your bag. Grab your bag. And he said, I don't know where my bag is. And she's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Grab your bag. And I was like, oh, my God, he touched someone's butt, which is not appropriate. But that's
no, but I love that he got bounced from the plane. Like,
well, everyone's exhausted.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking, even the flight attendants. So
yeah, and that is the piece of advice that should go without saying, which is just like, go with the flow in the way that like the process is going to happen. So like, just do whatever you can to comply with the process up to a point. And this is where it gets kind of dark, but it's like, you know, international flights. I don't know as much about. I haven't flown internationally in a while, but my name has changed since the last time I flew internationally, and my gender marker has changed. And you know what I'm gonna do, Brooke? If someone asks me to do something, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Because I don't want to. I don't want to be like held in some facility or worse. You know what I mean? Ooh, well, light topics on the dish.
Traveling while trans, I think, is like a whole separate thing. You know, and I've had trans partners that have gone through it, of course, but never myself. And that's a really good reminder that, like, when you try to show up as an ally, but you're like, oh, why are you wanting them? Like, don't do that, right? Because, like, the trans experience when traveling is already so fucking draining. And so challenging and humiliating and dangerous. Like, you know, and I think that's a conversation to have with your partner that I'm sure trans people do, because, like, I'm like, no, we're at the whim of TSA, which, like, isn't really even like it doesn't really have federal jurisdiction, but it doesn't have state jurisdiction. It's very weird, and it's this very big gray zone, and that's really dangerous for trans people.
Yeah, but they are the gatekeepers right in front of you, so it's like you have to do what they say you have to do. And, oh, let's lean in a little bit closer. Have I told you about my TSA panties? Very fun.
Different than the panties I keep in the bottom of my backpack, I assume.
Oh, no, those are the inflatable panties. More on that later.
Just on the slide. Okay.
Yeah, it's a slip and slide. So my TSA panties are the panties that I wear. It's actually a series of underwear that I wear to avoid being flagged for something suspicious in my groin so I don't get patted down.
Okay.
So this is the fun reality of traveling while trans. So I've tried a couple different things because you only get one shot per travel, right? You're like, let's try this and see if we get flagged, get pat down. And then you have to have that. It doesn't make you feel good. Like, it's very... I
feel like that's like a Hamilton lyric. Like, you just get one shot. I don't know. I don't like Hamilton. But anyway.
You just get one shot, not to get felt up, you know? And...
Like TSA the Musical from Bob's Burgers. Didn't take off.
That would be a good one, though. TSA the Musical. Like, we should actually do that.
So good. I don't know
how relatable that is?
Oh, it's so relatable.
Yeah. So you only get one shot, and then you have to, like, pack and redress, and it's like a whole nother trip before you get to try it again, right?
Right.
So the first couple times I tried it, I just wore regular underwear, and they're like, oh, something suspicious. Something doesn't seem right down there. And then you have to have the awkward conversation with the person of like, okay, well, I am trans, so you might want to get someone over here who, like, I just want you to be prepared for what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be embarrassing and degrading for everyone. So, you know?
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and it's varying degrees of triggering. For me, anymore, it's not a huge deal because I've had to go through it a few times and whatever. But let me tell you, for those of you listening out there that may be finding yourselves traveling while trans soon, I know it's like a choice that you make. Yay! But anyway, you put on a really nice pair of male fitting briefs, and then you put on some lady boy shorts. Which is an oxymoron. You put on some lady boy shorts that flatten the front. And then I like to put on a really tight size down, like you size, whatever your size is, you size down, spandex bicycle shorts. And if you do all of that, you have about an 85% chance of getting through without anyone having to pat you down. I also need to sign up for pre-checks. I think that would also help.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
This is the Lord's work.
This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for, dear viewers.
I mean, seriously, like, all the shit I have to go through, the odds of my genitals being touched, very low. You know? Like, this is so, so good.
Do you want them to be higher? Because I know a place where you can get a nice packer and just stick it.
No, the worst thing that happened with genitals is when I was traveling with my ex for vacation, they put the strap on in my bag after they explicitly told me it was going in their bag.
I remember this.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, because I got to hear all about it later when you guys got home.
I was fucking furious. I was furious. Because, of course, I didn't have pre-check. I was like a newbie. I was like, oh my God, planes. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that was 10 years ago. Now I'm like, just like on the plane smoking. And like, they're like, oh, she has enough points. She can do that. They just like, you can smoke. When you get 20,000 Delta miles, you can smoke on the plane.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I had a layover in Marrakech, and I was given a small Ziploc bag of hashish, and that's how I became a drug mule for the next 3 years.
Your Jennifer Coolidge impression is infuriatingly good.
Thank you. I watch a lot of Juno Birch, so it's actually Juno Birch as Jennifer Coolidge. But I did also rewatch Best in Show recently. So good.
I say this, I do not say this lightly, fucking timeless movie. It is timeless. It is so good.
Yeah.
It is such a good movie.
Yeah, all the Christopher Guest cast, Fred Willard is amazing in it. Jane Lynch is amazing in it, and that
Jean Levy's amazing.
Jean Levy.
Hera's amazing.
Yes, it's so good.
Oh my God, Jane Lynch is. What is it called? What is the show? What is the magazine? Quarterly Bitch or Bitch?
Oh
Quarterly?
yeah, Bitch Quarterly. Yeah, it's so good.
I feel like that movie is. Those are the movies that like you rewatch and you're like, you know, you rewatch old movies and you're like, oh shit, this doesn't hold up, right? Like movies from our childhood, and then like you're like, oh no, this one does. And I didn't get it at all, but I watched it because my friends were watching it. Now I rewatch it and I'm like, oh my God, Cookie and that whole thing and the running joke. Like,
Cookie, yeah. Like, I think I recognize that dog trainer out there. Like everyone knows who she is. Oh, that actually reminds me of another travel tip, Brooke, which is make yourself a list, because what you don't want to do is show up at the hotel front desk and your cards all get declined and you don't have enough cash for the, you know, like you show up and be prepared and actually make a list beforehand, because
I really also think an important thing, and this is like balling on a budget moment, is bring singles, because I feel like bring singles and fives, because everyone gets cash when they travel, but they get 20s. Yeah. And that's a big miss, because first of all, unless you're fucking Calvin Coolidge, you're not tipping 20s. I don't know where that reference came from. He's a dead president.
No, but I mean, unless you're a monster, you'll probably need to tip the housekeepers who are cleaning your room. If you're like valeting your car, then you tip the valet. You know, like there are these things that are going to happen throughout the course of your trip.
And just a little tip, oftentimes when you want to tip the house cleaner, sometimes at certain hotels, I read this amazing article about how like the linen people come in first, and they're usually men, and then the house cleaners come in.
Oh.
So if you have an opportunity when you're staying at the hotel to kind of observe how the cleaning goes, I will sometimes put the money for the housekeepers in the bathroom. I'm not saying I don't want to tip the linen guys. They're not cleaning the room.
Interesting.
So oftentimes people just leave the money under the pillow or on the bed, and the linen guys take it. Not like, you know what I mean? That's just how it goes.
Right.
But I would try to be a little more observant, especially if you want to tip housekeeping. And we do want to tip housekeeping.
We do. We want to tip generously, because that is not an easy job. And
no, it's absolutely not. So so like singles are like, you know what I mean? And always tell yourself like, oh my God, like, oh, you know, my first thing when I started traveling was like, do I tip? Like, how much do I tip? And is $2 like a joke? Are they going to be like, what the hell? And it's like, no, $2 is $2. Like, if everyone did that, their day would be different. Like, it's not necessarily about the amount. You know what I mean? I think, and again, if you would do more than $2, if you get room service or something like that, do it. But if you can't, that is just it does mean something. But the first time I started traveling, I was like, oh my God, like I can't afford this. And it's like, well, if I can get 20 singles out and come home with 8 of them, I think that's okay. You know what I mean? That's the thing. But everyone, like, get cash before you travel. And I'm like, hold on, ball on a budget. Get singles before you travel. That's the tip I would give.
Yeah, use drag bar rules. Get those singles.
Drag bar rules.
Roll them up.
Rules. Who needs a 20? You're not going to see Nina West. And also, she's fine. She's doing great.
She's fine. But she also loves money. Hi, Nina. She's not watching. That's okay.
She's not watching. She's in hairspray rehearsals. That's fine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's like anyways, I get on my...
No. I'm glad you did. Girl.
So tell me your sexiest travel story.
Okay. Well, let me start off with a short, funny one first. My favorite part about going to do burlesque shows out of town is you get to have sleepovers with like cast members that you shack up with, right? So I went to Ypsilanti to the Bonacera, which is not there anymore, R.I.P. But we had this great show called Guilty Pleasures Burlesque, and it was me and Eliza's sidecar and her husband who stayed at a Motel 6. Because it's, sometimes the show producer will put you up, and you take what you can get, because, right, it means, like, a free bed, you know what I mean? The fact that it's Motel 6 is like, great, I love it, free place to stay, thank you so much. But we get there, and Motel 6, I think, is the one that we're like, we'll leave the light on for you. Yes. So we checked in, which took forever because there was no one at the night desk. And, it's like typically we're checking in at 1:30 or 2 a.m.
Right.
Yeah. So then we go up the stairs and it's like February. There is winds blowing. It's like literally a blizzard outside. And the door to the room was open on the balcony, like the exterior door. And I was like, Motel 6, we'll leave the door open for you. So, of course, we're like, is anyone in here? Like, we're, like, looking around behind the curtains in the bathroom, all that stuff. Thankfully, no one was there. So, yeah. And that's not a sexy story because a lot of people think, like, oh, burlesque performers, like, staying over, it must be pillow fights and stuff. I mean, probably most of you watching realize that that's not the case. But I always really laugh when people think that we're just, like the male gaze doesn't shut off at any point. It's like, I'm peeling my eyelashes off and there's pizza grease all down my shirt.
Right, and like literally the headliner's farting. Like in the bed.
Yeah.
Like there's just absolutely, it's so
if
funny.
If we're doing it right, yeah.
When I would tour with Angie Healy in the Midwest, shout out Angie Healy, and Jen Kober in LA, shout out Jen Kober. I had partners at the time who would like be so like, oh, you're sleeping in, there's a queer woman and you're sharing a hotel room. I was like, first of all, we're on opposite sides and we're texting our booze because we're lesbians, we're codependent. Second of all, like when we finally do get together, we like split a 6-pack of Corona and like talk about our love lives. Like we kick up our legs and lay on our tummies and like talk on opposite beds. No one.
Yes.
Like I just can't tell you how little sex is happening. Like I just, what is the opposite of sex? It's a void of no sex. But yeah, it is.
We're all checking our phones to make sure everyone made it to their hotel okay. We're like talking about the show. We're eating
taking
pizza.
Sexy selfies. We're posting them. Yeah. We're doing the things. Like it's so real. Yeah. But I will say my sexiest travel story. Oh God, I actually have you. All right, so you have to make a choice.
Okay.
Domestic or international?
Oh, international for sure.
Oh, okay. So I was in high school.
Okay.
And I did like a class trip to Italy because like I went to a Catholic school where like all the girls had money, but like we were like middle class. My dad was a crew coach there. So like we got a discount and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm with all these rich kids, right? And we're going to Italy and we get on a red eye because again, it's still the cheapest flight and we're kids and they're like, who cares?
Right.
So there's a Mormon missionary group on the flight.
Okay.
And I'm at the end of our row. And there's a boy next to me. And his name is Jacob with a K.
Oh
and
my
I'm
gosh.
not going to tell you where the K was. Figure it out.
At the end. After the B.
And all I have to say is that the morning after the red eye, we got off the plane. And my powder blue wind pants were not going to make it to the hotel. And he was questioning everything about his mission.
Oh, girl. You know what? Here's to the Mile High Club. Cheers to you. That is far sexier than my story. I have to say, I do have a sexy story. It starts out sexy and it ends not sexy, really.
Oh, I love these. Plot twist.
Okay, so I'll start with the sexy part. I went to a burlesque convention in 2016 called BurlyCon, which happens in Seattle. It's actually in the Tacoma area, close to the airport. So we had a dance party one night. It's lots of classes. It's like people are in fascinators and rhinestones and sweatpants. Like, it's a really fun burlesque camp weekend. Camp as in, like, you know, roasting marshmallows in tents and stuff. Like, it's just, yeah. It's lots of fun activities. So we have a dance party, and I meet this really, really kick-ass lesbian burlesque troupe from Vancouver. Wow. And they were like, do you want to come hang out with us? And I was like, you want to hang out with me? I was like, okay, absolutely. Like, I'm in. Like, I was not in a position to turn down that cool of an offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all of those things together.
I mean, the confluence.
One of those things together, very cool. But all of them together, super cool.
I was like, jackpot. So anyway, they were so nice. They were so cool. So I went back to their room, and this is not like sexy. Like, we were not like getting sexy. But they were like, hey, 2 questions for you. First of all, do you want some of this cannabis oil? You know, like a couple drops of this on a granola bar. Cool. Yes, great. Second question, do you want to climb over the fence to the hot tub that's closed and skinny dip in the hot tub for a while? And I was like, yes and yes. So there's like tiny, tiny little 2 drops on this piece of granola bar. So ate this, because it's Washington, okay? So this was good, so I thought. So take the granola bar, climb over the fence, and then unlock it from the other side. And then we're like chilling in the hot tub, skinny dipping. So much fun. The security for the hotel it's these 2 guys in their 20s. They come around and they're like, hey ladies, you know you're not supposed to be in the hot tub. And we were like, oh my gosh, we know, we're so sorry, we'll wrap it up, okay? And then we just stay in there because they're just gonna, they just keep coming around. You know what I mean? They're like, I thought you guys were gonna wrap it up. And I was like, we are, you know what I mean? Like, we're just not, we're staying as long as we want to because they're not gonna do anything.
You're totally new.
Yes. So everyone wins. I just want to point out.
Oh my God, I love it.
So then we wrap it up, finally. We're like out there for, I want to say an hour. And we're just like, oh, what's Columbus like? What's Vancouver like? You know, we're just trading stories. Get our towels. It's like getting chilly. So we go back into the hotel room. And meanwhile, I'm like, wow, nothing has really happened from this granola bar that I had. Then, so that was the sexy part, was the hot tub part, okay?
Got it.
Then I'm in the room, and all of a sudden, textures start to feel really good. Like, really good. And I'm like, this is not what should be happening right now, right? This is not normally a symptom of the thing that I did. So you're like, what's happening? So things feel really good, and I start having great ideas, right? I'm like, oh, I should do a number like this. We should do a group number like that. Everything's great. I'm like, have you felt these sheets? You know what I mean? And then that happens for about 15 minutes, and then I start to feel really physiologically bad. And I couldn't tell you why. I just feel really bad. Like something bad's going to happen, or I don't want to be here. It's like, you don't want to be here in this room? No, I don't want to be like here. You know what I mean? Like in a cosmic way, I don't want to be here. But I can't describe it. And then for the next, like, I want to say hour and a half, I'm just throwing up. Everything.
Oh.
Like over the toilet. Then I go back to bed and they're like, everything stops, right? Because they're very responsible. They're like, oh my God, this is like, we did this. So now they're like taking care of me. And I'm really embarrassed. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not fine. But they're taking care of me. It's very nice. I felt very like safe in that moment with given the circumstances.
A lesbian Vancouver burlesque troupe, obviously, yes.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's the first place you want to be when you're having a bad trip.
Oh yeah, that's the first and last.
Yeah. And also don't go
me there.
Yeah, and also don't go anywhere else that night. So they give me, like, I go into bed, and then I get sick again, so they hand me the ice bucket. And it's just, like, I'm very taken care of. But then I miss all of the morning sessions that I signed up for.
Oh, no, girl.
Yeah. So then everyone is, like, in a group chat on Facebook, the Facebook page, trying to figure out where Eileen is. And that was the really embarrassing part. Because then I had to explain to Miss Indigo Blue, my burlesque legend whom I idolize, and I'm like, I'm so happy to be here and learn from you, and I have to be like, I made an irresponsible choice, and so I missed my morning sessions. Like, it was mortifying. But
oh my God.
Also, felt very sexy. So
you know what? I've done a lot of amazing things in my life, but skinny dipped with a bunch of Vancouver lesbians from a burlesque troupe, I have not. So with that, I will cheers you.
Cheers,
and
queen.
The beautifulness that is you.
Oh,
I will cheers you.
Right back at
listeners.
you, babe.
Yes, I will cheers you, our listeners. I also want to end on this. I'll be in a different city next week. And I'll be here, and you'll see a hotel room, maybe similar to this. But I am very excited to announce next week we will have legal expert and absolute hunk, Joseph Wanger, on as our special guest.
Yes!
As we do
Joseph.
A legal dish on statewide and LGBTQ rights and where they're at. So I'm very excited to have Joseph on. Joseph is my mentor, I think. I guess that's the term for a good friend who's more smart than you. More smart.
Well, then you're both my mentors. You guys are going to have a legal dish, and I'm going to be like, do I look pretty?
We're going to do that, and Eileen's going to do another Jennifer Coolidge impression, and she's still going to be everybody's favorite. That's where I'm at. Nobody needs me.
I'm no stranger to litigation.
Oh, my God. I want it all the time. Okay. Thank you so much. I know we were a couple minutes late, but this has been so fun. I love you all individually and collectively. I have so many snacks. And we'll see you next week and every Tuesday on The Dish.
Oh, stay safe and remember to pack all your essentials tightly and securely. Oh, wait, that's the wrong button.